Okay, hello again. This is now the 5 Minute Tarot for the 19th of January 2018. That's right. I had to check that I've got the right date. Okay, so today, this is about the Seven of Swords. Mainly, it's going to end up being about the Seven of Swords and how you can read a meaning in a book, but often enough, you can't fit the meaning to the answer to the question. And so what we do instead is learn to read the picture, look at the picture on the card on the rider deck, and turn the image or the information in the picture into the answer. That's what I'm going to get to in a minute or so. So some of you may know that I have a website called the-tarot-book.com, and various people have joined. It's not free. It's like $18, I think, to join. And what it is, it's about the tarot book. And so what I do is, or what I try to do is, I take you from first thinking about reading cards all the way through to doing a reading. And I think there's 45 chapters or sections in it. And so a few days ago, I started looking at the preface, because what I want to do is rewrite the contents of that particular site and do one section at a time or one chapter at a time. And then as I improve and add to what's already there, I'll upload the revised version to the site so that those who've already joined will get ongoing improvements of information to do with the site. But I'd also like to turn the book, the online version, into an actual paperback, and just pay to have it published, because people like books. Books are nice. PDFs are great. Websites are great. Blogs are good. But there's something about a book. So I thought I'd like to publish an actual paperback book. So in the preface, I spoke about how a lot of people in the beginning will recommend that you learn meanings. But the problem is often it can be difficult to translate or to link the meaning that you're given with the answer to the question. So you can end up saying something based on the meaning, but it maybe doesn't make that much sense. And as an example, I looked at the Seven of Swords in the rider deck. So you've got the two swords stuck in the ground, the fellow making off with something. And if you look up, I looked up various meanings from various sites, and that people generally talk about the Seven of Swords as making off with something that doesn't belong to you. And that's certainly what it looks like from the picture, as if the fellow's grabbed 5 swords and he's on his way and he's leaving. And some people will tell you that he's going to get caught, right? So that's our meaning. And maybe if the question is, did my neighbor steal my television set? And you pick a card and you get the Seven of Swords upright, then yes, he did. But you can't prove it, and there's maybe not a lot you can do with that information. But that's, I think, the kind of question where the theft and stealing idea will make sense. But let's say the question is, how is my job promotion interview going to go? And you get the Seven of Swords. You can look in the book and say, okay, well, somebody's making off with something that doesn't belong to him, and it's going to be found out. So is this saying that the interview, at the interview, you're going to have to steal the job from other people? So maybe you have to be prepared to be dishonest in the interview, which is probably not a good path to travel. Or maybe you're going to steal the job, but you're going to be found out later. So they're going to discover that you can't actually do the job. The idea that you're going to be caught with stealing the swords. Or does it mean that somebody else is going to steal the job from you? And so those aren't really that, I don't think those are that helpful answers to the question, how is the job promotion interview going to go? I don't think it's that helpful. Whereas if we look at the picture, we've got the 2 swords stuck firmly in the ground. They're planted in the ground. They're firm. They're there. They've been deliberately stuck in the ground, and they look quite solidly based. And then you get the person making off with 5 swords in his hand. So how is the job interview going to go? And maybe what you say is something like, there are two swords stuck in the ground. So you go into the interview and you make two swords, two solid, definite points about why you are particularly capable or skilled or suitable for the job. You don't try and tell them everything about yourself, but you go in with two solid, backed up by information, by evidence, by data. So maybe you've got particular skills and you emphasize the skills that you've got. Or maybe you've got experience and you emphasize and talk about the kinds of experiences that you've had that you were successful at, which make you qualified for this particular job. So you're taking the two swords firmly in the ground and doing something with that part of the picture. And you go into the interview with 2 points, and maybe at the end they say, do you have anything you want to tell us? So you emphasize and you remind them and you leave in the minds of the interviewers the fact that you're particularly qualified and you've actually done this kind of job before and proved that you can handle it. And those are the two swords. The 5 swords can be that you also mention that you're adaptable, you're capable, you can carry awkward situations and handle them. I mean, looking at the way he's holding the 5 swords, that can represent an awkward, difficult situation. But because the fellow's moving off into the future or moving off to the left, you can say that you, the questioner, the person being interviewed, you're adaptable, you're capable, you can handle difficult situations, you can identify a difficulty and not be thrown by it, right? So you talk about the 5 swords and you can talk about what they represent or what you're good at or what you can handle without too much difficulty. Even though other people might be thrown by an awkward situation, it's not going to happen to you. But the main point is, with the interview, you've got 2 swords stuck in the ground, emphasize 2 strengths or particular abilities or skills that you have that would make you the ideal candidate for the job. And I think that kind of interpretation, looking at the picture and doing something with it in the context of the question that has been asked. So it's about, sorry to touch the microphone again. So the question is about a job and promotion and work situation. So you relate the 2 swords, not the fact that they're swords, but the fact that they're stuck in the ground and they're solid and they're dependable and reliable. So you have skills and abilities that you've already demonstrated, maybe in the job or maybe in another job, and you've got data and information to back it up. And that's what you've got going for you. So you emphasize that and leave that idea in the mind of the interviewers when you leave. So that's one way of, you can, the contrast between learning a meaning and trying to twist your thoughts around the meaning or trying to twist the meaning into an answer to the question that is helpful and useful to the questioner. Because you can say, okay, you're going to have to steal the job. But if you're going for a promoted position and you've got to steal it, somehow, it's not that good. It's not that helpful or useful to know. But I think if you can look at the 2 swords and the 5 swords and do something with them and translate their state, the state of the 5 swords, the state of the 2 swords, into something that relates to or is connected with a job interview, then you're helping the questioner to handle the job interview well. And if it's a job that they actually want, they've got a better chance of getting it and being selected by the interviewers. So again, you can learn meanings, which somehow is like a dead end. Or you can look at the illustration and develop expertise and skill in making sense of what's shown in the picture. And this is what a lot of the tarot book is about, showing you how to translate the image or the picture or the different elements in the picture into something that answers the actual question that's been asked. Okay, that was it for today. Thanks for watching. If you have comments or questions, let me know. I'll be back in a couple of days, I think, with something else and a little bit more update about what I'm expecting to do this year. So thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.